slash dot dash dot slash dot dash dot.
I can't believe the city's been destroyed. The Vanguard is gone. Those damn pesky cabal. Calling all Guardians. Calling all Guardians. This is the Vanguard. Please respond. We need your assistance. Guardian, it's the Vanguard. Get in touch with them. What are you doing, Guardian? Speak! Speak, goddammit! Guardian, they're in trouble. Get back in touch with them. Hurry! Oh, goddamn you idiot. They're gonna die because of you. The worst thing is, you're the only company I have and you can't speak. Come on, let's get moving. So, Destiny 2, what can be said about the game? Well, I'd like to start by talking about Destiny 1 because I never actually got a chance to review it for this channel. It's kind of like expecting Lego for Christmas and getting Kinects. While still fun, not as good as what you initially expected. Now, I know a lot of people had issues with Destiny 1. I actually enjoyed the game to a fair extent, but it didn't live up to the hype. It was probably one of the most expensive games ever made. And it just felt a little bit empty. The lore was missing, and you had to go like onto websites and stuff to find out about the lore in the world, which was just silly. It should have been in the game. So does Destiny 2 do a better job with its campaign story? And I'm here to tell you that yes, indeed it does. I very much enjoyed the campaign. It was a little bit on the short side, but it was much better. I actually cared about what we were doing in the campaign this time. I cared about the story. I can't tell you what you were supposed to do, what you were supposed to be doing in the first game. I cannot remember, and I played that game quite a lot for the 2 years that it was out. All I remember is some sort of black garden or something. Whereas in this one, it's a clear story from the start. The city gets attacked, and all of the Guardians lose their light. You are back to zero, basically. And obviously this was the way for them to get the levels back down to zero, to start us all off again. And from this, obviously, your character has to then sort of regain their strength so that they can take on these two villains, one of whom is Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, and the other one is Bane. Don't you think they look like those characters? I think they do. But these characters were actually pretty good. I mean, they weren't amazing. They were quite run-of-the-mill in many ways, quite your standard sort of villains. But at least they gave us that edge to the story this time. So what really helped the story was the cinematics. And now whilst in Destiny 1 the cinematics were decent and it was a very glossy and beautiful sort of looking game, the cinematics in this game are much better. You get a better sense of all of the Vanguard, of all of the guys from the city. You get to see them in action, and we didn't really get to see that in the previous game. Now, I didn't get the DLC for the last game because all my friends stopped playing it, and I didn't feel any incentive to pay extra money to play on in Destiny 1. So I don't know if I've missed anything from the DLCs that would have filled in some of the lore that I wouldn't know about here. But I thought, for the most part, it was pretty well explained. I knew what was going on. I cared about the characters. And I wanted to drive on and see what happened. And we didn't get that feeling in Destiny 1, so that was a thumbs up from me. One of the other things that I was looking out for during the game was, in the first game, you played a lot of missions where you would get to something, and it would be, right, you've got to defend it for 3 minutes, and just waves and waves and waves of enemies would come at you. Now, in the start of this second game, there is a mission quite like that, and I was very worried early on. I was thinking, oh no, they've gone down the same path. But by the time I got to Titan, the second planet or moon, whatever you want to say, the missions on there were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. They reminded me of the best parts of Doom, which a lot of people really liked. It was like the high energy, moving from one zone to the next, just blowing through enemies. I thought it was fantastic. It was certainly the best missions that I've encountered in any Destiny game. I also noticed, and this is one of the things that Bungie get credited on quite a lot from what I see on the internet, is the music was so good. It was badass. It really heightened some of the moments in the game. You had these sort of deep pounding electronic beats at certain moments, and then at the more somber moments you had the like long orchestral strings and stuff like that. I just thought the music really added to the story and lifted some of those scenes really out and made them stand out in my mind. Very good job on the music. So just to close off on the solo campaign, we get an actual boss fight again. Now we did in the first one, to be fair, but I get a little bit worried with games these days. They seem to cop out on the boss battles, but we actually got one here. It was fantastic. A little bit easy, possibly. I did it on my own. I don't know what it'd be like playing with a friend on that moment, but it was good. And yeah, no complaints really for the final boss. One thing I really liked, actually, just going back to when you start the game, is if you had the previous game and you did some of the expanded missions, like the Vault of Glass, it actually tells you in this game who, when you play them, what day on, and who you played it with. It actually tags your friends in that. I thought that was actually quite a neat little touch. They didn't really have to put that in there. I haven't had a chance to play the raid on this Destiny 2 yet. But I am looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the raids on the previous game. I thought they were some of the better parts of the game, actually. Hopefully I'll get some friends together soon and we will attempt them, and you never know, we might put some of that footage up on the channel. Speaking of playing with friends on the game, I did some of the missions on Titan again with my friends, and seamless, very, very well done again. But going into the Crucible, and I really enjoyed the Crucible in Destiny 1. It was possibly my favourite part of the game, and so I was looking forward to playing it in Destiny 2, and it's good again, very good. The shoot mechanics of this game are flawless, like it was in the first game. But playing the Crucible, it's kind of annoying because it's random. You can't select what game type you want to play in. I don't understand the reason for this. I don't know if the developers have done that so that people play all the different versions of the games in the lobbies, because you often find in multiplayers that people flock to Team Deathmatch and other game modes. I don't know if that's why Bungie have done this, so that people have to play all the different ones, and then at a later date they might unlock the other ones, and they would probably be hoping that some people would like all the different ones. I don't know if that's what they're planning, but it's kind of annoying to me because sometimes I just want to go on, I just want to play Team Deathmatch, and I can't do that because it randomly puts you in a game. There is one where each team has 8 lives, and every time a teammate dies, you lose one of your tickets off your team. I quite like that mode. I would play that again, but I seem to be getting dropped in that one quite a lot. There's also obviously the capture the flag type game, and there's another game where you basically, when you have to pick up these orbs, and whoever has like the orbs gets more points or something like that. So they're all pretty good. I enjoyed the Crucible again. I think it's now that I've finished the main game, I'm obviously going to be playing a lot more Crucible, and I look forward to it. I actually felt that I understood the progression of the weapons a lot better in Destiny 2, but that might be because I played Destiny 1. I remember on Destiny 1 I had to ask my brother quite a few times, what do I need to upgrade this weapon, what do I need to upgrade this armour, and he would get annoyed because he had to explain it to me every time. I feel like I understand it more in this game. They seem to have just maybe like simplified it a little bit, or I don't know if it's just because I'm used to it now, but yeah, I felt like I understood it a lot more. It can be tricky finding which weapons you like. Obviously you get higher graded weapons as you go on, and you want to swap out for the highest power, but that's not always necessarily the best thing to do, I find, because for me, I don't like using the fusion rifles, so I would never really use them, but I might have one in my inventory that's stronger. Now, I didn't know that you could upgrade weapons, and I never actually did that in the previous game. The only thing with that is you use some of your exotic shards, which I didn't realise. I upgraded some of my weapons, lost a load of shards, and I needed to save them for when Xur turns up. And that's another point. They're doing the same thing with Xur, apart from he's sort of dotting around all the different worlds this time rather than at the Traveller. So just going back to what I said about the lore, I think that maybe more of a recap of what had happened in the first game and the DLC, the Taken King DLC, could have helped just to flesh out the story. What I did like though was that we got to learn more about Cade 6, Ikora and Zavala, the three Vanguard team. In the first game they were there, but they were just vendors, and that's something else that actually is really good. All the different vendors and all the different people that you go to talk to, they actually interact with you more in this game. You get like a little mini, not a cutscene, but when you talk to them, they sort of tell you a little story about what's going on. It'll be there in text as well, and I think that really added to knowing what was going on in the game. There's a lot to do. I'm at level 20 now. I finished the main game. But there's adventures, which obviously were sort of like side missions. You've got the public events, which are back, which I like. I think they're good. There's a nice variety of them. They can get a little bit tedious, though, when you do them over and over again, because, when you're in a certain area, they're the same sort of missions over and over. But these are the best way to level up, I find. There's also, like, patrols and stuff to do for Cade 6 and the other Vanguard guys, and that helps you unlock different weapons and armor. So overall, I found that Destiny 2 was better than Destiny 1. Now, going back, I probably would have given Destiny 1 a 6 out of 10. Thinking back to it, I enjoyed it enough to want to purchase the second one. But it didn't feel finished. It felt like things were missing, and ultimately that led me to not loving the game quite as much as I probably could have done. And that's interesting that a lot of people didn't think it was so great, and yet during those 2 years it's been one of the top games on Twitch, like non-stop. It's been in the top 25 just constantly. But I have found that Destiny 2 is better than Destiny 1. I'm hoping to play it a lot more as the year goes on, hoping my friends stick with it so we can do more and more things together. Looking forward to doing the raids. And as I said, the campaign was a lot better. I felt more invested in these characters and finding out what was going to happen. So, my final verdict for Destiny 2 is a 7 out of 10. Yes, it's better than Destiny 1, but it's not that much better. I still feel like it could have been more of a reboot of the series. I thought they were going to go for a soft reboot, and they didn't do it. I don't like that your characters are mute. I really don't like that in games. I know a lot of people like it because it's supposed to be your character that you're creating, and it's supposed to be you portrayed into the character, and that's why developers leave them as mute. But I find that it breaks you out of the game. It's very immersion breaking that your character doesn't speak when other characters are speaking to them. Now I know that's why you have Nolan North as the ghost, and he speaks for you, but to me it's immersion breaking and I don't like it. Promising signs that they have improved the single player. So as I say, 7 out of 10, and here's the hoping that Destiny 3 will be even better in a couple of years' time if they are going to do it, and hopefully we just see this steadily improve as time goes on. Interested to see what the DLC is going to be like. I think I will get it this time, so I look forward to seeing that, and who knows, that might even lift the game up into a higher category for me. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I've been Jack for /. And we will see you again soon. Make sure you subscribe for more game reviews. See you later.